All right,
That's my
F, who you got
biggest
as a snub on the East?
Real quick, I was gonna go with one. I'm gonna give you two. I don't think
You
Bam
don't
nor
follow
Jimmy are
directions.
gonna make it. Bam, the snub, and I don't think Jimmy's gonna make it either because he
You
hasn't
know your
played
wife's
enough
from
games.
Miami, right? Why you hating on Miami like that, man? You know
Listen,
what I'm
I
saying?
don't think Bam or Jimmy are gonna make the All
She's
Star
not
game.
home. He wouldn't do that. She's not home. So
Next
listen.
one, man. She heard me. Shout
I'm
out to you,
done.
man. I love
Oh,
you dearly.
See, there you go. There you
Everything I
go.
have is because of you, my love.
There
here
you
we
go.
go.
Bring Lucy on, man, so she can fight for her Miami Heat, bro.
We're not doing it.
Okay, got it. Say less.
I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
Welcome to the Welcome to the 3-on-3 podcast. It's your boy Hans here with my main man, Evan.
How about it?
Yes, sir. Joined with my guy, Lou.
I really just hate that he has that, yo.
Hey,
It
man,
might
that's
just be
his
being
intro.
jealous. I think I'm just jealous. I think that's all.
I was gonna say, man, don't hate the player, hate the game.
And as always, we have the Pod Mamba coaching us from behind the scenes. Thank you guys for joining us today. We have an exciting show, so much content to get through. So we're going to try our best to really get to it and give you guys the best podcast that we can. And I'm just going to get right into it. These past 2 weeks, y'all, we have been blessed with some controversy that has been lighting up our timeline. It has given us the content, the entertainment that we are here for. And, you ever be doing laundry and you're sorting your clothes and you're turning your jeans inside out. If you didn't know, please do that. And a 20 falls out. And you're like, oh man, I didn't know I had this 20. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, wow, that's just a blessing. This is what these past 2 weeks have been. The week before, we had Cat Williams giving us a special that we didn't ask for, but we needed. And now we have Stephen A. Smith, who said, I will not be outdone. And he blessed us with a special that we didn't ask for, but we needed. As you guys know in the chat, I'm here for these wars. I'm here for the podcast war. I'm here for these comedian wars. It's all entertainment for me. It's all content, but it's great though. It's great in the sense of it gets us together. It gets us talking about interesting topics that I love. For one, I love sports. I like comedy, so I'm here for it, man. I've been blessed with these $20 falling out. I'm almost, listen. I'm expecting it week to week. Who's dropping next week, y'all? That's all
Right.
I know. Who is dropping next week? That's what I want to know. But I want to know what you guys feel about what's going on between Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock. I know we have people here who have some opinions about either of them going one way. I'm not going to say what. I'll let everybody, share their opinions on each of them and their thoughts and everything of that nature. But I know either way, we feel strongly about the two. So I felt like we just had to start the show with this blessing of content that we got from Stephen A. Smith. I'm going to start with you, Ev. Stephen A. Smith did something that was a departure from him in the sense of setting it up on his show. He got real. It wasn't just about sports. He got personal. And there he said he got explicit. What were your thoughts on the Stephen A. special that we got today? Not today, but this past week.
So what was interesting about it is I get this text, a little Instagram feed from or Twitter, X, whatever, from one of my guys, one who I'll put him in the anti-Stephen A camp. So he sends it, and so I already know, okay, if he's sending it, it's got to be some sort of foolishness, right? And so I get it, and I hear Stephen A and he's saying, you know, I talked to my bosses, I gave them a heads up, you know, about what I'm about to do and what I'm about to say, and I'm sitting there like, well, what's he about to say?
I'm perked up. Ears
Right,
perked up.
yeah, right. So you know, he goes in and he calls out Jason Whitlock, and immediately I'm like, what did Jason Whitlock do now? Right. And I mean, he's just calling them all kind of vulgar bees and fat bees and son
Bro.
of a bees and
I was like, yo, is
yeah,
this Austin Powers?
right, right. And so what happened was I
Get
got
in
two
my
clips.
belly.
Exactly. So I got two clips. So I got the first one. The first one was he was setting it up, right? Right.
Mhm.
Like y'all need to see what I'm about to say. And then I get the second clip when he goes in and saying what he's about to say. And I'm listening, but what I could never get was, well, what did he do? What did Jason Whitlock do? I was so confused. Why are you cursing this man out? And so I finally see what Jason Whitlock said, and he called him some, you know, some things. You know, made some
Rant.
accusations on his character, made some accusations on his career, made some accusations on you know, his reality or whatnot. And so what I'll say is I'm a pro Stephen A person. What I think happened this week, right, is you mentioned Cat Williams came out last week,
Mhm.
said some strong things, had a viral interview. Shannon Sharp's been telling us ever since it's the second most watched interview in YouTube history, 42 million
Hey,
and
yes,
counting.
sir. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to him too.
The responses to what Cat Williams said were muted, I would say. Ludacris was, you know, it was a mild
Gave us a
response as
freestyle.
rap. Yeah, yeah. Kevin Hart, you know, he tried some shade, but you know, it wasn't flame. I think Stephen A saw some
Neither
mild
was his movie
responses
that
to
just came out also. But go
hold on,
ahead.
I'm gonna watch it this week, man. Don't do Cap
Oh,
like that.
my bad.
But
My
it's
bad,
all good.
man.
It's all good. But what
My
I'm
bad.
saying is
I
I
bet you I can
think
guess exactly what his character does.
chill out, man. Chill out. What I think happened was the responses to Cat Williams' response, people were like, whoa, these responses aren't rebuking. Oh, Cat Williams might be telling the truth. I think
Mhm.
Stephen A was in his friend group, his chat group, like Cat Williams would have said some stuff like that to me, or I'd have told him about himself, right? You know how Stephen A does.
Yeah.
And then Jason Whitlock comes out and says something about him. And that's the energy that we got from Stephen A on his response. He had to stand on what he was probably saying all week. If somebody says something about me, they catching flame. And so he came with some flame. Or he tried to come with some flame. That's my take on his response.
Got you. And for those who don't know, I don't want to get on the particulars because they actually have been going back and forth, just not to this extent. So
Yeah. They
Jason
have a
has
long-standing
made
beef.
Yeah, Jason has made comments on Twitter, and Stephen A has called him a fat bastard before on Twitter, but it's always been one sentence responses from Stephen A. Nothing to the point where he dedicates a whole episode of his own show to that guy. And I think the straw that broke the camel's back, with the context of the catalyst of the whole Cat Williams thing as well too, and you standing on business as they say,
Mhm.
is Jason Whitlock, at least from what Stephen A said, the straw that broke the camel's back was him basically questioning his book and his basically upbringing and his journalistic credibility. And if you don't know anything about Stephen A. Smith, if you don't know anything about him, he is prideful about being a journalist. That
Mhm.
is one thing he mentions at least a couple times a year, is that he got it from the mud. He did it covering Philly sports. He's an actual journalist. And he makes that distinction to separate himself from everybody else. So to have that question, I think really just sparked it for him and ignited it. And like you said, the atmosphere, man. Cat created this atmosphere, bro.
Mhm.
He created this atmosphere where if you want it, you can get it.
I hope
So
we get it
you-
all 2024, man.
Listen,
Everybody, speak on your truth and
Hey.
stand on your business.
Man, what a way to
So-
start the year.
Listen, man, I'm here for it. What's this week coming up, bro? What are we gonna get, bro?
Oh,
It
man.
might be peaceful. It's MLK, so it's MLK. We might be peaceful.
Well, I have a
So,
dream we get some more content.
You, I'm here for it. So Lou, I'm gonna bust you
Oh,
out,
man.
bro. You're
Look.
not a big Stephen A. Smith fan
Not at all.
at all, and you're not shy to admit it.
Not
So
at all.
I'm curious to hear your take on this beef, bro. Do you think he has justification for this beef? Was this episode that we were blessed with justified, or is it just just
I mean, look.
entertainment, just fodder?
Everybody speaking their truth. So regardless on whether I feel like he's justified or not, I don't ever knock anybody speaking their truth, especially if somebody's questioning your credibility. And you think anybody who's at the position that he's at right now, because he's on top of the world when it comes to sports as a journalistic or from a journalistic perspective. So he's up there. He's in terms of celebrity, as big a celebrity you probably could get.
He's number one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for somebody to take a jab at that, yeah, I can feel that, especially with his type of personality that he's at least that he exudes. I'm not surprised that he would fire back, especially with this type of intensity. So, I don't care for either of them, but Stephen A. Smith, man, I'm actually kind of happy that somebody took that jab at him, because I think he feels like he's untouchable most of the time. And there was something that he said that on there where he's like, I don't talking about he doesn't actually hate anybody, because he's admitted he's going back and forth with a lot of people, and oftentimes is loud and wrong. It seemed like he swore he was going to have Shaq on his side when he was having a rebuttal to Rashad McCants and the Kobe statements for Shaq, just to cut him down. Like, bro, no, you actually are tripping. So for me, yeah, I'm happy to see somebody take a shot at Stephen A. So him speaking truth. But I think
right message, wrong messenger. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I think that is
wait, hold on. Are you saying Jason Whitlock was sending the right message? Is that what you're
Just
saying?
the wrong
Pablo?
message?
Wrong. Hey, no, those are the words that I don't want you to focus on. Wrong messenger is the words that I want you to focus on.
Look,
so you're
but,
saying Jason Whitlock. Put that on there. Put that on
No,
wax.
put it on
I'm
wax,
gonna
man.
say,
He's staying on business,
Jason
right?
Whitlock
It's gonna
is
be all
sending
right.
the right message.
You just don't
That's
like
what
who sent it. Hey, bro, look, man, we don't choose who God's messengers are, okay?
Wow.
Wow. No, see,
Lou, he
this
sent
is what
from
I'm talking
God?
about. No, we're not doing this.
Sent
We're
from
not
the
doing-
Lord?
No,
Jesus?
we're not doing this
Yahweh?
the year of our,
Jehovah?
in the year of our Lord 2020.
Yeshua?
We're not putting Jason Whitlock as a God's messenger. Stop it.
Yo,
Goodness.
oh man, no, but realistically,
that's that
I think-
Stephen A. hate coming out.
Hey,
I will cut this podcast down before we allow that to happen.
You threw the lie, Pop Mom.
Hey,
I
look,
mean,
no.
Lou dunked
He
it.
I
just
did-
dunked
hey,
it.
Lou
Again,
Me and
dunked
Hans,
it.
me and
Just-
Hans
again,
back here. me
y'all
and
know
Hans
what I
running
meant.
Back in transition,
Look,
like what?
Y'all know
again,
what I
the net-
meant.
again, we don't choose who the messengers are. Thank you, Pop Mama, for being the messenger in this
No,
moment.
I don't like to be
But-
on this side.
But the thing is, I
Wow.
think the one thing that I think that hurts Stephen A. in this is when you're the person so high up to somebody. So Jason Whitlock is nowhere near on his level, right? So for you to then respond in the way that you did, it kind of gives Jason Whitlock some life, you know what I mean? So and
100%.
for him to respond with the intensity, and I know some people were disappointed, like, oh, I can't believe that you responded in that manner. Again, I don't know why anybody would be surprised, but yeah, for him to really dedicated that much time and energy to Jason Whitlock, he's winning. To be real, he's winning, because you're on top of the world, and for him to poke the bear and you
Go
to
ahead.
descend from your lofty heights to mention me. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, bet. Cool. Now people have reason to even go see, oh, what is Jason? Because I'm sure there are a bunch of people who didn't even know what Jason Whitlock was saying or even said. So
Oh
now
yeah, they're checking his social media. They're checking for his show to
you
definitely see what's good.
exactly, because now,
100%.
okay, what is he gonna say next, et cetera, et cetera.
I wouldn't go that far. I don't care what he says next, but I did go to see what it was that he actually said. Jason Whitlock
yeah,
got more attention from me in the first 3 weeks of 2024 than he did in all of
and
2023. I will give you
I
that.
would say in all of my entire life.
Well, yeah, probably. I mean, you're fair. Like
Yeah, if
since
I
he
were to
left
come, yeah,
ESPN, like many
facts.
years ago, um, you said a couple things there. One, again, I think Stephen A. You know, you kind of damn if you do, damn if you don't. If he comes off with a mild
Mhm.
response, then it's, you know, is it true? Although in this case, though, I think you're right. I'll give you. I think you're right in this case. Whatever Jason Whitlock said, it would never cross my timeline. I would never have
No,
any idea what he said. Right? This is different where from Cat Williams, where
yeah,
everybody knew what Cat said, so everybody knew what people were responding to, waiting for you to respond. When
yeah.
Stephen A. responded, I had zero idea what he was talking about.
And these guys are his peers when in the Cat Williams situation, right?
Yeah,
These
yeah,
people are in their own level of celebrity as well, right? These guys are just as big, right? Some people could argue maybe Cat is not as big if you don't truly understand Cat's uh his history and his catalog. So for this in terms of Jason Whitlock and Stephen A, man, the gap is
yeah,
so wide.
yeah.
It,
But it's
it begs to like, okay, for you to really respond to somebody that small, why are you that bothered? You know what I mean?
And the response was crude too. Like as
Very
far as diss tracks go, Hans is gonna like this one. As far as diss tracks go, it was much more super ugly than Ether or Takeover. It was just
Okay.
a crude one. Could have been more craftily done. If you were gonna punch down, like really, you know, get your creativity with it and whatnot, and dead the issue right there. Right. Just cursing
But
and whatnot. You know, I
here's
It
understand you're
was
angry, but
it was
here's
Get Money
another
by Tupac. That's what it was.
here's another aspect of it though too. Let's not act that like Stephen A didn't get his click. If you look at the numbers, his other episodes are averaging around 200K views. This one has 1.5 million
Yeah, for
already in a
sure.
couple of
so
days. So
Oh,
you
for
get what I'm
so
sure.
saying?
you're
For
so
So
you're,
sure.
you're
he
bringing up another point. You're bringing up another issue there, a reason why I think he did it, and a reason why it fell short.
right.
Let-
So go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, let's talk about what else happened last week, right? So we know Shannon again. You know the cat thing, 42 plus million. It's
Mm-hmm.
our, it's a gift that keeps on giving for Shannon, right?
Yeah.
Stephen A's other contemporary, who he's trying to model himself after, Pat McAfee,
Mm-hmm.
has the Aaron Rodgers interview that with the
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Kimmel drama, and
Mhm.
now he's going viral for that. Stephen A's looking at these two guys that are his side by side peers at the network that have their own standalone products of their own, right? Getting a lot of traction. Stephen A, you calling it out, 250,000, 500,000, right? Stretching to get
Mm-hmm.
a million watches on something of his, right? This to me sounded also like I gotta do something to get some waves in the water, like these guys are getting waves in the water. So I think there's an element of that as well to it. You got two cats here that not I shouldn't say cat. You got two people here that want attention. Uh
No,
so
you bring up a great point, and I think even Stephen A alluded to it. I don't know if it was subconscious, but he alluded to it. He basically said that Pat McAfee was leading the way in that regard and in that model. And I like that and for those who are not in the business, because kind of we're doing this, right? So we're kind of aware and we've been watching sports on networks for so long and we follow these different shows and people who have branched off. Pat McAfee is like, that's the model, right? That's the model. Because whether we like it or not, ESPN as a product, as a brand, is not as vibrant as it once was. It's not as powerful as it once was. People are a lot more resourceful in using YouTube and other social media platforms to get the voice out there. And other companies are taking advantage of that and learned how to model that, right? You look at your Meadowlark Media with Bleacher Report, like all of that, right? So you have other avenues in which to get your voice out there. And now the model is you come in with your own platform, your own show, they pay you, and it works for them too. It cuts off their liability, it cuts off their overhead, right? They don't have to employ as much, they don't have to cover as much. So it works out for both. But I say that to say Ev brings out a competitive side of it, which is what Kat was alluding to, right? As well. During his special, which I'm calling it a special, that's what it was, man. His interview with
special.
Shannon. It was special, right?
Yeah.
He was saying, listen, this is a sport for me too.
Yep.
And I'm not just going to sit here and let these guys throw salt on me, knowing that I'm just as good, if not better than what they are, right? Like Lou alluded to, he listed his stats. And I think Stephen A listed his stats as well. So yes, Stephen A is like, yes, I'm still under this ESPN powerhouse they employ me, but I myself am still a brand. I'm still making moves. I'm still number one. So I do think there was a little bit of aspect of that as well too. But here's the part that got juicy for me. And maybe I'm just a gossip guy. Call me what you want. Call me sassy. I don't care. But when Stephen A brought in, and this is why I think it's very much more personally motivated than the other parts. I think the other parts played into it as well too. I'm not saying that, but I think it was more personal driven because when he brings in your Jamel Hills,
Yep.
your Dan Le Batards, you get what I'm saying? Your Isaiah Thomases, right? And then you all these people that we have watched in the media and have gone to separate ways. And so we tune into there and they're verifying this and they're giving us additional tidbits on just how conniving Jason Whitlock has been and how they've all kind of had beef, but have taken the collective look. We're all black. We're not going to make each other look bad. So we're not going to, they've all kind of stand down. So it adds fuel to the fire. As you start to go digging into it, it adds fuel to the fire and it just makes it so much entertainment. And as I always give credit to Evan for this, he put me on to Dan Le Batard. So, when I was watching ESPN, I'd tune into Mike and Mike, and, I like stats and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, watch this Dan Le Batard, man. It gives you another off color and fell in love ever since and have been into it. And they given us much more context into what's going on and the personal side of it, right? And how there was so many jockeying and it just gives you the competitive side of it, which I wish in the Cat we got more of that rather than just the fake rebuttals. You get what I'm saying? Like, I wish we got more insight, which I don't know how we would get that in the world of comedy, but like, I wish we got more insight into the jockeying that takes place because at the end of the day, these guys are jockeying for position. And the one thing I'll give Stephen A. Smith credit for is that man has made his spot legit. Like, nobody is coming for it. Nobody's close, is what I'm saying. Nobody's close. So I'll definitely give him credit for that, man. And I was here for every bit of it. I read stuff I never knew even happened. Somebody I want to hear from, which I know we won't hear from, is like, Bomani Jones. I want to hear what he has to say.
Word. Because Bomani hilarious, really.
Yeah, and he was a mentor of Whitlock's. So he definitely has some insight, bro. But he's not speaking. He's not into that. So it's stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
Like,
He'd call Whitlock a fat piece of shit too. So
I mean,
I'm 100% sure he would.
You think so? That's his mentor, though.
Look, what's your point?
You put him on.
I'm about to say,
what's your point? Not everyone loves their mentors.
He may say that behind closed doors. I mean, look, even Shannon Sharp. You know what I mean? Jason Whitlock has spoken out about Shannon as well. And Shannon in his
I call him Uncle Ruckus. That's Jason Whitlock's nickname for me.
I 100% agree, though. I 100% agree. And that's why, and I'm going to say, bro, I side with Stephen A on this. I side on Stephen A with this. Anybody who goes, it's one thing, right? If we disagree on a business decision, you feel me? If we all work at the same company and I make a move and it's like a business move, you feel me? That's one thing. But when I make moves that consistently tear you down and it's mostly people that look like me, I'm talking about black people, who in this world, we're still fighting. We're still fighting, you know what I'm saying, for equality and relevancy. When your moves consistently kind of tear black people down, I have an issue with that. Because I feel like we have a responsibility more so than other races and creeds to do more good than harm. And that's my issue with Jason Whitlock. I feel like some of the moves that he's made and that's been documented has done more harm than good. And also people he's aligning himself with,
Even his takes.
are
Yeah,
not
his takes, bro.
necessarily people who are out for the betterment of us. You feel
That's
me?
the part. That's the
And
part
that's my
right
issue.
there.
Yeah.
This lane is profitable for him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like Pod Mama says, I mean, he's playing that character. Somebody got to do it, right?
Him,
Somebody
Candace.
has-
There's a lot of
Ah.
people, But we won't get into that. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we won't get into that. But anyway, we were blessed for another special, guys. We were blessed, and I think we're gonna have a peaceful week, Lou. I know you're having a dream, but I think we're gonna have a peaceful week. Peace, man. It's Dr. Martin Luther King Day. We're gonna be peace this week, but I'm hoping that the next week, man, we get some more drama.
The good doctor also got killed. So
Yeah, he did, man.
I have a dream.
Hey, man, dream on, dream on. All right. So
Segue out of that, huh?
right. Boy, testing me, man. Jeez, I gotta do that, man. So as you dream about the stars at night, let's talk about our all-stars, man. Let's talk about our all-stars. It's kind of
That's a master class. That's a
Right?
master class
Right?
of
Wow.
podcasting,
Yo,
broadcasting.
in his mind, the gears were turning hard.
Listen,
Yo, what am I
freestyle
gonna-
bars.
Let me tell you something.
That's how you do it, boy. That's how you do it. God damn.
Wow. All-star voting, man. If you haven't cast your ballot, as somebody on this show hasn't, I'm not talking about anybody. I don't want to point any fingers or elbows at the Laker fan here.
You won't be able to see who didn't, but
Yeah. It won't be seen.
I just praised
Oh.
you, and you're over here already talking shit. Can't do anything around here, man. Can't
Listen,
can't
man,
give anyone
you can't
any
win for
props
losing, man.
without-
You can't win for losing, man. You can't win for losing. I just pulled the Jason Whitlock. So listen, All-Star voting is live and open and will be going on until the 20th of January. So we thought it apropos to put a list together of what we thought would be a well-deserved All-Star roster for this upcoming season. So we are aware that they're going back to the East versus West, which I think we'll get into
Love
that.
it.
We'll get into that on another episode as we get closer to All-Star, what we think is going to happen, especially when the results are revealed. We'll get into the construction of the All-Star and all that. But now it's East versus West, so it's different now. So East versus West, so you really have to be more meaningful and more strategic in who you're choosing. So like I said, we decided to put a list together who we thought should be there, deserving, and we're about to just get right into it. So for the East side, guys, so there are givens. We know for sure, and we all agree here that without a doubt that Embiid, Giannis, and Tatum, they're going to be in there. They're going to be in your starting five. I don't think anybody here has any objection to those three as well. They're front runners. They're really been showing out consistently and living up to expectations as far as this season is concerned. But
Mine's only objection might be that Tatum made it as a front court and not a guard. But continue.
you cut me off. I was going to say, but Tatum should have been a guard. But anyway, it is what it is. We want to get into that. The NBA is wrong sometimes, and it happens. So no problem there. But we do have
Adam.
some issues. Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna have to hit him up.
Adam, if you're listening to this episode,
Mamba, could you write a strongly worded email to Adam in regards to Jason Tatum's qualification?
One of these
classification?
days, that episode will drop, but it's still in the vault.
It's still okay. Say less. So we have two spots up for the guard. So that leaves really from the ballots choosing Tyrese Maxey, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, shout out to Ev, and Tyrese Halliburton. Those are the two spots that have to be occupied. And we have to choose from 5 people, guys. So who do you think is deserving of these 2 spots? Anybody can go. Ev,
So
we already know who one is. Ev, give us your
I know.
second. We
Go
already
ahead.
know.
All right.
We
We know
already know who
Brunson
the
is
one
on the
is,
list,
Ev.
bro.
Come
so
on, Ev.
you know what's funny about that? That as much as I wanted to put Brunson, I actually went with the two Tyrese's. I went with
What?
Tyrese Maxey and Tyrese Halliburton.
Hold on, hold
And
on.
it's
So Jalen Brunson, the Nick, is not starting for Ev.
so listen. There's I'll put it like
Do you
this.
even
All
like the
right.
Knicks?
Listen to
Are
me.
you from New York, man? What happened, man?
I
Who
think
I
he's a
picked-
Philly fan.
Who I
This guy.
picked on this podcast and who I voted for each day that voting has counted 3 times are 2 different people. Okay, let me make it clear. Let me make it clear. I'm not telling you the ballot that I've submitted multiple times. All right, I'm telling you who I think is most deserving.
Oh,
different
okay, bet.
topics.
Two different things. Two
Two
different
different
things.
topics. Okay,
And to Ev's credit, we share an account.
absolutely.
I go on there to try to vote.
And
I can't vote.
you
'cause
got
this man
12
is-
hours, and you got 12 hours
I
until
said,
you
I gotta
can
wait
vote.
12 hours to get in there again. And I'm late again. I'm like, look, Ev. I'm sitting here text, hey, bro, can I get one in?
Listen, every time, all right, we might not even get through these. I'm gonna tell you a story. Every you know how you watching the games, right? And they always pop up and they say, today is the day that voting counts 3 times, the voting counts 2
Mhm.
times. Just scan the QR code, bro. My phone is never near me, bro. When that QR code pops up, and by every time I find my phone and get there, it's gone. This is like
It's
an
gone.
open frustration with me. But yeah, them 3-time voting days, Brunson's been getting all of them. But I mean, as far as this season goes, just a snapshot of how the season looks. I mean, Tyrese Maxey, I mean, outside of the numbers, I mean, 26-6. I think just his transcendence this season has just been one of the feel good stories of the year so far. Him partnering with Embiid, they look amazing. They do.
Mm.
And he's doing it efficiently as well. He's leading the team even when Embiid is out. So I had to give him props there. And then Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, the first half just feel good story, leading the Pacers to the end season tournament final game. They came out with a lull after that game, but then riding the ship right behind it. Still, competitive battling for that top 4 spot in the East. We got a logjam there right now, 4 through 7. But
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at who he has on the team with him, he's carrying that team. There's nobody on there that we would even consider an all-star selection process, and that's the slight tick that I gave above Jalen Brunson on my list, because as we get into the reserves, there'll be other Knicks to talk about. There's no other Pacers to talk about, so that's why I put
So
Tyrese Halliburton.
even though Maxey and Brunson are points wise averaging more than Tyrese Halliburton, you still see a fit for him to get that second guard position, just given off of what he's done for the Gary.
Absolutely. I mean, the 12.5 assists, and just carrying that team. You take Halliburton off of the Pacers right now, they might be in 11th, 12th place. I mean, literally, there's
Okay.
nobody else in that team that we would even consider close to all-star status. So, Halliburton.
But
is
starting
literally-
though,
Hmm?
but starting, I feel
That-
like if
I
There's
think
a
it warrants
difference
him
between-
getting an all-star spot and then starting. Those are two.
right,
I think that's what Hunter's
is
about to allude to.
Is there not? Yeah, I feel like those are two different levels, right? There's
Yeah.
one thing to make the team, there's another to start.
Well, for me, it was between Halliburton and Brunson. And we're again talking most deserving, not talking who I'm voting, who I voted for. Between those two, the story of the first is funny. The first half of the season, right, was Halliburton was getting MVP buzz. We
Yeah.
talked about those odds dropping for Tyrese Halliburton. And for them to respond, even when they went on a bit of a losing streak after the in-season tournament, for them to bounce back and still be in place. I think are they fourth? I'm gonna go
They're
check right
fourth
now.
as
Yeah.
we're recording.
Exactly.
Fourth.
As we record now, back to fourth in the East, which I mean, we're all jumbled up by a game there. But
Mhm.
yeah, them riding the ship, him being the clear leader of that team, and there being nowhere close to other all-stars on that team, but still having the success that they're having. That's why I gave it to Tyrese Halliburton.
Makes sense. I guess for me, I also think if you could say the same thing about Jalen Brunson, I feel like if he's not on that team, the Knicks drop down to 10, 11
Seventh
as well
because we
too.
still have Julius Randle, who's also an all-star, but we're not talking reserves yet. So continue.
Yeah, but I feel like without Jalen Brunson,
We drop down to
that's
7th or 8th because we have Julius Randle. I got you.
oh,
Continue.
okay. All right. Well, your nickname is showing a little bit. Your nickname.
Listen,
Tuck that in.
They-
Tuck that in, sir.
I
Tuck
almost
that in.
wore my
I
shirt.
believe
Keep going.
you're a New York Knicks fan again.
Yeah, yeah. You redeemed yourself, man.
This
You
one here.
redeemed
Nah, I
yourself,
believe
man.
it again.
All right, Lou.
Because
So
the true delusions of grandeur that Knicks fans have, it's cool.
Man.
So,
But-
Lou, who do you think is deserving of those 2 spots, man?
Look, it's gonna come down starting, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's Tyrese Maxey and and Dame Lillard, man. I think that's what it's gonna come down to in terms of starters. I know it's Gian, let's be real, it's Giannis's team. It's the big buzz that Dame would have in Portland and the games that he would have, et cetera, et cetera. It may not be as loud as it's been in the past, but at the end of the day, this is Damian Lillard. So let's be very clear. This guy's he's an all-star without
Mhm.
question. He's been playing at an all-star level, and I don't see him not playing at an all-star level for the rest of his career. So just give him respect where it's due, especially when it comes down to fan voting. He's going to be a showing for a starter. And then, all the points that were made about Maxey, I think he's very well deserving of being a starting guard. I think what's going to happen is, when we talk about awards, he'll be in conversation for most improved. Do I think he'll get it? No, because that's reserved for the reserve guard or rather a snub, I believe, that will happen for all-star
Okay.
and Kobe White. But Tyrese Maxey definitely has played because he's stepped up to the voids of the Australian and Ben Simmons, the James Harden, and then all the question around who was going to be the person to be the number 2 to really help Embiid take the Sixers to the level that everybody has expected them to be. And Tyrese Maxey has come in and filled those shoes thus far without hesitation. And so I think he's the other guard that will deserve it. So we're gonna talk about other guards who,
This is,
I see the argument for Brunson, for real. I see the argument for Brunson. I see the argument for I think Halliburton deserves an all-star spot, but I don't think he's there at where he deserves a starting position as of yet.
This is wild. Like, I think we're all in disagreement here. All
Yeah.
3 of us are in disagreement when it comes to these 2 spots. And I feel like you guys are flagrantly disrespecting Brunson
I
and
knew-
Mitchell, or
I
the
knew you
2
were gonna say
guards that
that.
I chose. Like, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you? Done
How dare you, or do you even like? Oh, so you just hating because he's no longer a Blazer, huh? Is this why you never?
Listen.
That's why you don't want Dame? Is that
There's
your
a
beef?
difference, like Ev said, there's a difference between who I
Who you
think
vote
should
for.
be there and if Ev would allow me who I vote for. There's a difference now. There's a difference. There's a
Let's
difference,
be
okay?
clear.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Nah, I mean, in all truth, like, I think Dame will get it because of the fan vote. Just like something
Absolutely.
the Pod Mamba said, which we'll get to when we get to the western side of it. I think Dame will get there in the fan vote. But for me, like playing like right now, if we're looking at the snapshot of the season, I think we can't overlook Donovan Mitchell. He is carrying that squad. And although there's been trade rumors about, that could have distracted him, he had a little injury a little bit. He's come back and he's putting up 26, 27 points. He is literally willing that team and still showing that, listen, I can perform. Now, some think he's performing to get out of there, but yet and still, I think it's still deserving of a starting bid. Like, you can't deny what this man is really doing. And my other one, I really honestly battled between Maxey and Brunson, but I gave it to Brunson because I feel like Brunson is not only playing well, but I think he's been a catalyst for the change of the culture on the Knicks. I think that Julius Randle has taken a little step back and allowed Brunson to really take more hold of the team. And I think it's worked wonders for the Knicks, along with the trade for OG and letting the Maple Mamba go. I think that has helped as well. But I think what he's done for that team and how they've really just started to pick up steam and looking really good. We can't deny that. We got to reward that. He's out here. He's been dropping 50 balls and things of that nature. But that's why I did it. But I want to keep moving. So with so many guards at stake, y'all. So if we pick 2, right? 4 have to go into the reserves. So what are the reserves looking like in the East, right? And I apologize, those are my dogs chiming in. So what are the reserves looking like
My
in
dogs
the
at?
East? Yay. What
So
are
you
reserves
filling
looking
in?
at? So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, you filling in 3 of them with our guard
Mm-hmm.
conversation already. So what do we do with the last 4 spot?
Exactly. So let's say we go with Ev's model, right? And we put the Tyrese's in there. So that would put Dame, Donovan, and Jalen Brunson on the reserves, right? So who do we fill in? You can't deny Trae Young has been balling. I think he had a record 30-point games, right, this season. I forgot what the record was, but he strung together a list of 30-point games for the season and has been balling. Now, granted, the team's record may not reflect that too great, but nonetheless, he individually is balling. Like, how do you Jaylen Brown? Like, where do we
think-
go with?
So I think we can't deny Jaylen Brown will be one of those spots on the roster. Looking great, solid year for him. Second best player on the best team in the league. You mentioned Trae Young. I got a funny question about Trae Young. Trae Young's giving you 27 points, 11 assists a game. The team is not doing well. You hear no rumors about, is Trae Young available? Would a team want to trade for Trae Young? Nothing. Is he that is his Q level, that Q rating, that low in the league outside of the great city of Atlanta?
Look, man, we also have to be recognize some teams are okay with just being a mid-table team, right? They're just happy to fill seats. And I think Atlanta's one of those teams. So, I don't think Trae Young is going to be, unless he requests a trade, I don't think he's going to be in trade conversation. And
I don't
plus,
think he is.
yeah. I think if
Because-
anybody, Murray will be the person that gets traded.
No, and
Well,
he's
yeah,
been
plenty of merit talk. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think it's that his Q solo. I think it's Atlanta's basically made it clear that that's a no-go. That's a no-go. So that's just what it is, a no-go. All right, guys. I know we gotta, like I said, we have a lot of content we have to get through. Let's do snubs real quick for the East. Who do you guys think is getting snubbed this year from the All-Star team? And then we're gonna move from the West. Because we gotta keep it moving, y'all. So who's snubbing? Give me
Kobe
your
White.
one notable
Yeah.
big snub.
Kobe White, man. Kobe White, man. That kid
Such
is
a homer.
balling, bro.
He is
Kobe White
balling.
is.
I can't fake. He's balling. That's not even a
Kobe
homer.
White is balling, man.
Balling.
Yeah, in the last 7 games, man, he's giving you 21-5-5, bro. We've seen what he's done for the team, and how he's been able to kind of lift. Even though, yes, we understand the Bulls aren't doing great this season, but just in his individual play, he's really flourishing to be the guard that we expected him to be when we drafted him. And showing that he can even be a solid number 2 option next to whatever big name. So. He's the biggest snub. I have him penciled in as for most improved this year, based on his play. So
All
that's
right,
my
Elf, who you
biggest
got
snub.
as a snub on the East.
Real quick, I was gonna go with 1. I'm gonna give you 2. I don't think Bam
You don't
nor
follow
Jimmy are
directions.
gonna make it. Bam, the snub, and I don't think Jimmy's gonna make it either because he hasn't.
You know
played
your wife's
enough
from
games.
Miami, right? Why you hating on Miami like that, man?
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't think Bam or Jimmy are gonna make the All-Star
She's not
game.
home. He wouldn't do that. She's not home. So
That's
listen.
fine, man. She heard me.
I'm
Shout out to you,
done.
man. I love you dearly.
See, there you go. There
Everything
you go.
I have is because of you, my love.
There
Here
you
we
go.
go.
Bring Lucy on, man, so she can fight for her Miami Heat, bro.
We're not doing that.
We're not, okay, got it. Say less. All right, y'all. Moving on to the West Coast. All right. It's a given. We know Luka, because my MVP pick, balling.
Luka
He's
Magic.
gonna be on there. We know the Joker's gonna be on there for sure. And we can't deny, as Lou affectionately calls him, Shea Gilly. He's gonna be on there, y'all. So
My guy.
we got the last two remaining spots as well. Between KD, Kawhi, AD, and I'll even throw Booker in there just to
Come
piss
on,
off
bro.
Lou.
Oh, man. There you go.
Who do you guys think's taking those next two spots, man?
Every time I see a bag of
So
chips, I get it.
here's the
I
problem.
see some
with the-
Doritos.
Here's the problem with the West that I'm gonna blame the Pop Mamba for it.
It's always his fault, man.
We know LeBron is getting one of those spots, although we agree he doesn't deserve one of those starting spots.
Right.
So what it ends up turning into is a Kawhi versus KD versus AD for one of the remaining spots.
Mm.
For me, I think the correct answer out of those three would be Anthony Davis for the way that he's played.
That is incorrect.
Wow.
But I want to give it to Kawhi Leonard.
That's also incorrect.
I understand for
Okay. AD.
being. I think the Clippers for the improvement that they've made, I think it should be reflected in the starting five. And Kawhi is back to looking like the best version of himself.
Yeah.
And for that, I think he should be in there. And he's played almost all the games this year, which is we haven't seen that in ages.
Ooh.
Hey man, listen, man, games played count, man. So
has AD though.
I
So
agree.
has AD.
I agree.
has AD.
But I say Kawhi over AD slightly. We can't have LeBron and AD in the starting five. What are we doing
Yeah,
if that's
that's
the
horrible.
case?
That's horrible. Yeah.
Why can't we?
I mean, you want to know what arrogance is? Arrogance is not even having done your ballot because you know the rest of the city of Los Angeles is going to take care of it for you. That's
privilege.
That's privilege
Yeah.
right there, man.
It's privilege. He
I'm
got
just
those next
here.
two
I'm
spots.
just here to get the show in order. Have you guys go and do your segments in the timely manner that we do it on. That is what I'm here for, Evan.
Okay. Not to give us Laker takes and
We
set us
appreciate your
straight.
support.
If I
If you-
must, but you know.
Yeah.
If you must. Look, man, the correct answer is Kevin can't brush my hair Durant, man. So look, he's a top leader in points. He's still, man, if we're gonna talk about, he's still on the list as one of the best players in the world right now. So the correct answer is Kevin Durant. He should be the one that is playing. I mean, Kawhi's the success of the Clippers. Yes, Kawhi is a big part of it, but you have to also attribute it to the other stars that are there. AD as well, and great that he's played almost every game. I mean, he's number 3 in rebounds in the league and so on. Yeah, the correct center to be starting that game is Joker. So, we have Joker starting. AD can come off the bench. Kevin Durant deserves to be a starter. Same argument like I had with Dame Lillard. So,
yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to Charles Barkley for saying Kevin Durant needed some of that green grease. I think that my
That's
dog
funny.
agrees. I think that KD's the right choice as well too. I think KD's the right choice. Given what
I
he's
wouldn't be
doing this
mad at it.
season, he's
Yep.
the one that's been most consistent and
Mhm.
putting up the most points. And fan wise, like although I would love to see Kawhi there, given like the fan vote, I don't think he has enough of a base to get himself there.
No.
Although I
He
think
does
he
not.
deserves to be there
That's-
though, because I'm rooting for Kawhi. I want him to understand, like, I want him to prove people wrong, and I want him to remind people that he was once up there in the conversation with rivaling LeBron. Like, so I really want him to win and to make it be known that, hey, yo, I'm not gonna take this line down. So that's cool. Okay, I guess we kind of agree there. But let's get to these snubs, man, because the West is thick, y'all. The West has a lot of players that you really have to consider. And I don't envy these coaches when it comes to these reserves. I don't envy these
No.
coaches at all. So, Lou, let's start with you, bro. Give me 2 snubs, man, on this West Coast.
Man, and I gotta give you credit because I actually didn't even think of him, unfortunately. But I think Jamal Murray will be one.
Mm,
Because look, I'm giving the example myself, right? Because I actually forgot him. But I also think somebody who's also going to deserve it that's not going to get it, man, is Sengun. I think Sengun has really been
Really?
balling this season. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get in, but Sengun he's been balling. I've been a big Sengun fan since last year. Actually, I think he's really kind of shown that he can be a premier big man in the league, man. Both what he can do in terms of scoring and passing. So I don't think he's gonna get in, but I think he's gonna be a snub. Him and Jamal
That
Murray.
Sengun one is very curious to me because for me, I put him in a category as most improved, as somebody who's working his way there. But for you to put him there already and to say that he's going to be snubbed, that's okay.
Taking the reins as the best player on a team that is in the playoff picture right now, above expectation. I mean, got that baby Jokic, baby Sabonis type,
Mhm.
game. And it's one of those where, him, um, players where the stats don't tell the whole story,
Yeah,
like,
the
yeah, he might be
intangibles.
averaging 22 versus 26, but you look at the totality of what they mean for a team that's hitting above expectations, and
Facts.
you got to, yeah, you got to give props to them. He made my list as the last person in on the West strictly because of where he is with Houston, right? And
Oh, so he's
Houston,
on your
yeah,
All-Star reserves list.
he was the
Uh,
last one
well,
on my
okay,
list.
so he made
So,
it fair. So I'm sleeping on
but
him, I guess.
well, I could see him missing it though because of like when you look at it between him, Domantas Sabonis, and Devin Booker. When you look at the three of us, I think we
Damn,
all
man,
agree that
relax, bro. Like,
one two of them are gonna be home. I'll give you one outside of those though, but I don't want to get Lou riled up with Devin Booker, so I'll give you one outside of them. Larry Markkinen,
Mm,
Larry.
All Star last year.
last year, yeah.
24
Yeah.
and 8, 24 and 8, just about 24 and 9 this year. Utah streaking 5 straight. We won't talk about who they beat last night, but
Mm,
back in the playoff picture.
mm.
Nobody had that expectation for them. Not only the beginning of the year, but 4 or 5 weeks ago. So for him to be putting on an encore season like he did last year, showing that last year wasn't a fluke. I think although he might be one of the last, one of the last names, barely getting snubbed, I think he deserves credit for what he's continuing to do and helping that team out. I got a
Gotcha.
question for y'all though, real quick, if we got a second. We talked about, and Lewis said it twice now, talking about Dame deserves to be an all-star just because, he's not just because, but he is an all-star, right? And he has the stature of it. It's funny that he used Dame for that example twice because Hines is gonna remember a few years back when the one Russell Westbrook was critical of Damian Lillard's selection to the All-Star team
Mm-hmm.
by making the point that the All-Star game is for the All-Stars of the league, not strictly just this, he scored this many points or whatnot, but we all know what All-Stars are versus players having great years. Where do you all stand on that when when y'all were going through y'all's criteria?
Mm. So for me, there's legacy all-stars and there's those who are balling at a all-star level. So Dame Lillard is a curious case in the sense of he's changed his game and he's going through these motions, but I still think he's performing at a great level. And I think that he's showing up when it matters as well. You have the phrase of saying it, lead us for 45 or however, minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and Dame will close. He's still closing well. In this past game that they did when they beat the Warriors, like they came back. Dame was the reason for that at the end of it as well too. So he's still showing up when it matters. So that's why I think he should still be voting in on the All-Star. And it goes for my criteria is, are you playing at an All-Star level consistently? That's what
Exactly.
matters to me.
Yep.
So it just can't be here and there. Are you putting it nightly, no matter who you're playing against? No matter what's going on, are you delivering it nightly? And that's, if you don't meet that criteria, I can't give it to you. So that's what it is for me. That's what all stars do. You can count on them. like
Yep.
all the time. And if you can't do that, then why are you deserving of an all-star position for me? So
Yep. I agree with that. And that's really my basic argument for Dame. I mean, they flirt between number 1 and 2, in their conference. That we know they're going to be a shoo-in for the playoffs. We're expecting them to even make the finals. So Dame is big thing that Hans said was Dame has figured out how to change his game to be able to complement what's needed with this Giannis Bucks. So yeah, and he's still consistently performing at an all-star level.
Gotcha. And my bad, I wasn't meaning Dame specifically
Oh
when
no,
I was
not at
when I
all.
was
I get it.
asking the question. And I did have one more question, but I cut you off, Hans, before you got to your snub. So who's your most notable snub?
Oh, well, Lou mentioned one of them. I have Jamal Murray on there as one of my snubs. And I also have Bane. Desmond Man, I feel like he's averaging 24, 25 points for the Memphis Grizzlies. He's been consistent, holding the ship without Ja being there. And also when Ja was there, he was still putting up buckets as well too. So he didn't like run and hide, or his game didn't totally dissipate, right? It wasn't yes, he took advantage of an opportunity, but even when Ja was there, he was still putting up numbers. He was still, playing at a high level. So I felt like he was going to be one of the snubs for this East Coast, man. And Jamal Murray, we already know what's going on over there. The West is hard. Like, if I put Jamal in, who do I take out? And that's a hard conversation to have. Like, Kawhi's going to be there, PG's going to be there, Booker's going to be there. Like it's really that's the question. Like, who do you take out? And although Murray has been balling, and we can't discount his numbers, I don't think it warrants me taking another guard off the list, man. It's too hard for me. It's too hard. It's too hard. But we'll see. Like, I'm gonna take Curry out. We didn't even talk about Curry. We
Yeah,
didn't talk about Ant. We didn't talk, like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
I think Ant, Curry, De'Aaron Fox, and Paul George are guaranteed locks. At least
right.
we
So,
agree on them. So when you get through them and you get through the forwards we talked about for the starters, that leaves a lot of people for one spot, which leads to the second question that I had. Do you think the All-Star roster, after doing this exercise, do you think the All-Star roster should be expanded to 15 players? Or do you think that it should be difficult to pick who the top 12 in each conference are to separate who's an all-star from who's a very good star?
Yeah, I think that it should remain at 12. Because what's the purpose, right? We're here to show display the best talent, the cream of the crop of the league, and it should be difficult, and these guys should be making it difficult, and I'm glad that they're making it difficult to choose. So it definitely should remain at 12, and let's keep it competitive. Because then when we start getting lax on that, we are being letting more people in, and we don't want to allow people to slip through the cracks. If anything, this should be motivation for those guys who, are the quote unquote snubs to up their game and to look to make it the following year.
yeah, man, I'm not a big fan of participation trophies at the professional level. I think it should be difficult. Make it 10 players. Let's make it less. I'm just saying, they don't play them for real anyway. Like, they don't get true runs. Like, I think they should really do that. Also, too, if we think about some contract structures, there's incentive to make an all-star, right? There's bonuses, there's things that way. So there's money on the line. I say, step your game up. If you snub, put that in the back of your mind when you're working out during the summer, right? So people I think we didn't even mention about, like Zion, right? People like that, like, I'm just saying, like, people like that, like, they should have a chip on their shoulder, like Zion.
He does. A lot of them.
A lot of chip metaphors on this
He's
episode,
looked
man.
better as of late. The team looks
lot of-
better as of late.
No, the team's looking better.
There's a
Team's
question I'm
looking
not
better.
gonna ask. We don't have time, but there's a topic there.
We might get
Maybe
into
no
it into
team.
overtime. But guys, these are all-star selections. What do you guys think? Let us know. If you think we're trending in the right direction, if you think somebody's different, hit us up on our socials and let us know what you guys think. As always, thank you so much for joining us on the 3-on-3 podcast. Don't forget to check out our overtime segment on YouTube if you want some more content. We appreciate it.
Can't be bothered.
We'll see you guys next time. Y'all take care, man. What's up, guys? Thank you for listening to the 3 on 3 podcast. Please be sure to give the episode a thumbs up if you loved it. Hit that subscribe button, and last but not least, hit that bell so that way you're notified every time we drop a new episode. Hit us up on our social media, guys. You can find us at the 3 on 3 podcast on IG and Twitter. If you want to give us any ideas or suggestions, shoot us an email at the 3 on 3 podcast@gmail.com. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys next time.